So now we're looking at the Knight of Swords in the tarot, and the Knight of Swords represents somebody who is driven, focused, determined, ambition. It's a card of speed and assertiveness, but it can also show impulsivity and sometimes a rigid way of thinking. So this card pictures a knight in full armour riding a charging horse. The knight holds a sword pointing forward as if ready to strike. The armour symbolises protection and preparedness, while the sword represents clarity of thought and action. The knight's forward charge indicates determination, a strong will, and the readiness to confront any challenges head on. So now looking at the charging horse, the horse is depicted in mid-stride with its mane here flowing in the wind, showing that the horse's movement is swift and forceful. And the horse represents the power and energy driving the knight forward. It symbolises speed, determination, and the unstoppable momentum that comes from a clear sense of purpose. The background often shows a sky filled with swirling clouds and strong winds, reflecting a turbulent environment, and the turbulent sky suggests a chaotic or challenging situation that requires quick thinking and decisive action. The wind also represents the mental energy and intensity that the knight brings to any such situation. His raised sword, pointing forward as if cutting through the air, symbolises a clear and direct approach to problems, cutting through confusion and obstacles with precision and focus. And it represents mental clarity and the willingness to take swift, decisive action. The knight's determined expression on his face indicates focus, and this conveys the knight's single-minded pursuit of a goal, showing that he is not easily deterred and is ready to face any opposition with courage and confidence. So now we're looking at the Knight of Swords in the tarot and how it might show up in a reading. So this card embodies action, decisiveness and ambition. It's often associated with a strong desire to achieve your goals. It's quick thinking and a very fearless attitude. It's the energy of somebody that is ready to charge ahead and go after what they want. They're ready to overcome obstacles and they can take on challenges with focus and determination. They have a real clarity about where they want, what they want, and how they're going to get it. The card also represents speed, it represents intellect, it represents fearlessness, not to be overcome by challenges. It can suggest in a reading this is a time of taking bold action, you're communicating clearly, and you're at a time where you're facing any obstacles or any challenges or even other people with a real confidence in yourself and what you're doing. However, it can talk about an overconfidence, so being kind of cocky with things. It can talk about an impulsiveness. It can talk about mental exhaustion. It can kind of talk about danger in the way of risk taking, not maybe you know, just marching forward without a worry about any kind of consequence. And so this card does encourage you to go after what you want, because that is the energy of the card, but it also reminds us about the potential of being aggressive, being too impulsive, not looking at challenges properly, and having that overconfidence. In the reading, it might show up where you have made a decision about something, you're not going to change your mind, you're very much decided on what it is that you want, or the decision you've made, and you're ready to take action on that, and you're willing to face or confront any challenges that may come along your way. It can show up in a reading when you're somebody that is now very driven, you have a lot of ambition, there's something that you've got a high level of motivation towards something. So it is enthusiasm, but it's also motivation. It's like nothing is going to stop you. You're focused, you know what you want, and you're going to go out and get what you need. No time or any tolerance for delays or any distractions. You have a strong sense of purpose, a strong sense of urgency about what it is you're doing, and nothing is going to stand in your way. So it definitely can also be a card of success. You're going after your success now. Success is there for you to take. As far as communication goes, it does indicate that you are communicating your ideas directly and clearly. You're not afraid to speak your mind, and you are going to give your truth. So therefore you're certainly going to assert your opinions. It can be can sometimes show a person that is a little bit opinionated, very eager to have your voice heard and have your perspective understood right now. It comes up in a reading to show you in a place where you're ready to face challenges head on. You aren't afraid of challenge. You're ready for any confrontation that may come your way. There's no hesitation about what it is that you believe and what you're doing. Your intellect is sharp and focused. With it being the Knight, who is very confrontational, and being the Sword, which is about truth, it can also be indicating that you're ready to bring some truth to light. You're not going to stand for any injustice, that you are ready to expose the truth of something, and you're prepared to fight for justice around something. So it can also show a card of somebody that is advocating for something they believe in, or somebody that they believe in, and they're ready to argue and to put their truth across and make sure that justice is held here. It can also show, as we said earlier, a person who is slightly impulsive. So like the Page, the Knight isn't fully matured yet. He hasn't mastered, like the King, the whole of the realm. He is able to communicate effectively, and he is able to hold truth and focus and determination. But it's how he does this. So maybe there is a tendency to act quickly around something, because the Knights are very quick. So maybe he hasn't taken long enough to use his intellect to think over something, or maybe to think of any consequences. So it can show an impulsivity around things, and maybe not thinking things through and not looking at consequences. So it can also be a bit like the Page. It can be a very eagerness to move forward with a plan, wanting that success, wanting to fulfill the feeling that is driving them, the ambition, but maybe not assessing risks properly, or finalising the important things before, trying to run sometimes, maybe before you can walk. The Knight of Swords also can sometimes represent conflict or aggressive behaviour. So this could be where you're too forceful with your opinions, your ideas, your pursuing of any goals, that may just then end up causing tension between you and others. Assertiveness can be perceived maybe as aggression when the Knight of Swords shows up, which can cause friction within relationships. Because of the nature of this card being very fast, determined, non-stop, it can sometimes show up to talk about mental exhaustion. So it can show up to say that you've been in this place which has now caused sort of mental exhaustion for you, or a kind of burnout. So the card itself doesn't necessarily depict burnout. It's more that this would be showing that the actions of this card that could cause a burnout time in your life. So that would depend on the cards that come with it, but this card can definitely show that somebody is always very driven, always very, very quick, always on it, always like, you know, somebody that's not stopping, which would then maybe indicate that they go through periods of burnout because of this. For the same kind of reason, with this card being very focused, very driven, very opinionated, as I said earlier, it can also show the need then for adaptability. So the consequence of this energy would be that there may now be a need for adaptability because of the rigid kind of thinking and plan, determination, focus, goal, mindset. It's left no room for that adaptability, and so it could be showing there is a need for adaptability now in the person's life.